Paralegals, you are worth more than $15 per hour. I am so frustrated when I see job advertisements, $15 to $17 an hour for a paralegal, some requiring a college degree and or a paralegal certificate, plus a couple of years of experience, and they want to pay $15 to $20 an hour. I just literally got off a coaching call in the litigation boot camp, and someone was telling me there's a firm in a major metropolitan city that just started a new paralegal for $17 an hour. You can't afford to live on $17 an hour in a major metropolitan city. I don't know how anyone would, unless you're living at home and your parents are feeding you. So I want to try to change that. Hi, I'm Ann Pearson, the founder of the Paralegal Bootcamp, and I'm on a mission, and part of that mission is part of this video, because my mission from the start of the Paralegal Bootcamp has been to help paralegals earn more money, increase their career security, and enjoy what they do. And so when I see these crappy $15 an hour paralegal jobs, I know you're not enjoying what you're doing, and you're definitely not earning enough money. And so I want to try to put this out to the world and hope that maybe it goes viral, hope that maybe you'll consider or reconsider taking that position. Because here's the thing, I know a lot of people will say, well, I'm a brand new paralegal, I don't have any experience, and the only firm that's willing to hire me is the firm that has this position for $15 an hour. I get that. But the problem is, when you go into it thinking that, well, it's just to start, right? Once I learn more, like maybe next year I'll get a big fat raise. Those firms aren't giving you a big fat raise next year. In fact, a lot of the paralegals that I talk to that end up taking those positions, they're 2 years in and they still even haven't had a review or a raise. Because a lot of those positions, most of them, I want to say 95% of them, are for solo practitioners or micro small firms. The large firms aren't paying paralegals $15 an hour. Maybe you don't have that option because you're not in a major metropolitan city, but with remote positions nowadays, you might have that option. So let me talk to you about a few things. Well, before I do that, let me also add one of the other things that I've seen in response to the $15 an hour position is the point or question from someone, well, what do we do, Ann, if we don't take these jobs for $15 an hour? They're either going to outsource them overseas to virtual legal assistants for $8 an hour. So the jobs will be gone. There won't be any jobs available to take, or maybe they'll figure out a way for AI to do that. And so I want to give you a few actionable strategies to help you kind of build up some career armor, or, increase your career security. Now, I'm not saying quit your job and be unemployed if you're in one of those positions, but I want to help you move into a better position to be able to move away from those. So number one is to insulate your career, right? Especially if you're in that type of a position, is move away from, as much as possible, the repetitive, mundane tasks of things, the admin type of work. Those types of things, if you can think of easy things that you do every day that anybody could do, whether it was someone from another country or AI, think about what you do throughout the day and ask yourself, could this thing be easily replaced by someone like that? Let me give you a perfect example. So in the personal injury boot camp that I have, it's pre-litigation, and I teach inside that to be the paralegal who finds the bottleneck inside your plaintiff's personal injury firm, and you are the rock star paralegal because you're bringing in more cash for the law firm. The same thing if you're on the defense side, it might be billable hours. If you work in a defense firm and you have a billable hour requirement, then meet or exceed that billable hour goal every single year, which means moving away from a lot of the admin tasks. Instead of saying, well, I can't help it, I've got all this admin work to do, instead say, what could I do with this work? Delegate it, delete it, do it faster so that there's less admin time, and really focus on those billable hours. The reason I brought up the personal injury one is a good example would be of like the mundane type of work that could easily be replaced is if you are doing medical records. Let's say that's all you do at your firm. You don't do any client intake, you don't do anything else except request and receive medical records and maybe organize them. That could be done that could be done outsourced to an outsourcing company that's all they do is request and receive and organize medical records and then upload it to the law firm. So that could easily be outsourced. You want to move, not stop doing it, but you want to broaden your skills and the value that you're bringing to the firm. So that would be one. Two would be, I guess, to try to move into more of a mid-sized to larger firm if possible. That's always going to pay more and create a little bit more career security as well. Three would be more client facing. You know, if you're that personal injury paralegal who all you're doing is medical records, try to do more client intake. Try to do more things where the client sees you, likes you, develops relationships with you, mentions you to the attorney, how much they appreciate your hard work on their claim file, those types of things, because that's going to be hard to be replaced either by AI or by someone overseas. Then I would also say, so maybe that's not an option, right? That wasn't an option for me because I worked in what I call big law, and we almost never engaged with the clients in big law. If you're a legal assistant, get the education and training that you need to be able to be promoted to a paralegal position. Because I think the legal assistant title and the legal assistant role is going to be a lot easier to replace by somebody overseas or by AI. And there is a difference. I did an article on it. You can look at it on the website. It's legal assistant versus paralegal. What's the difference? And so there is a difference. The ABA says there's a difference. The ABA's made it confusing because it didn't used to be different. They said it was synonymous, paralegal and legal assistant. Now they're not. So legal assistant is administrative, clerical, paralegal requires experience, training, or some type of special knowledge to do the job. So try to move away from the legal assistant and into the paralegal position. And last, I would say, develop some leadership skills. Doesn't have to be, I'm not saying move into management at all, but if you're at a small firm and you want to stay there and you're worried that, you know, at some point when you asked for $20 or $25 an hour, they're going to say, well, we're going to bring in people overseas. They're going to need somebody to manage those people. Your attorneys, you probably know, they don't want to manage you. They want to practice law. They're definitely not going to want to manage 5 people who are overseas working on their files. So leadership skills, you could always benefit from leadership skills, even if it turns out that you don't need them for that particular thing. And again, these are all things that are to help with your career security and hopefully help you earn some more money. Jump in the comments and tell me, are you currently or are you aware of people in your area working for that low of amount? And if you're not, if you're one of the lucky ones, like here's a perfect example. Somebody commented on the LinkedIn post that I did that she started out in, I think it was 2010 as a brand new paralegal in Miami for $55,000 a year in 2010. And so that might be the equivalent of 65 or 70,000 in 2024, right? Or more, who knows? But if you're one of those paralegals who didn't get or have to take that $15 to $17 an hour job, jump in the comments and let the others know. I think the more, especially the new paralegals who are getting, you know, pulled into these roles, these low paying roles, I think the more stories they hear like that, the less likely they will be to take those crappy paying jobs. Because the more people who take the jobs, the more those attorneys think that they are good with paying paralegals $15 to $17 an hour. And I say it's time that everybody says, no, I am not working as a paralegal for any less than $20 an hour. I say 25 to 30 an hour, especially in a major city. But jump in the comments and let people know, what are the starting salaries and what year was it that you got that starting salary? What city? You know, you're in a small town, big city, jump in there and let's get this ball rolling. No more $15 to $17 an hour paralegal jobs. No more.